Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be kind of a quiet, low-key, more reading heavy vlog. I have been mentioning in my last couple of videos that I have been wanting to get out of reading. I've been wanting to do other things, but reading just keeps sucking me back in, and I'm reading so many good, interesting books that I just find myself getting lost in. You'll see what they are as the video goes on, but I wanted to intro the video, say hi, ask you how you're doing. Let's talk down below what you've been reading recently, what you've been loving. But without further ado, let's just get right into the video, and I really hope it's a good one. I am so happy to say that it is officially the weekend for me, and I have no big plans. My partner is working, and I have absolutely nothing going on, and that means reading and watching K-dramas, which I'm very, very excited about. I have been finishing a ton of books over the past week and a half. A lot of rereads and stuff that I started in my last video. And the last read that I have to pick up from that list is Throne of Glass. I am currently 80 pages into this, and I'm actually buddy reading this with a friend. I was waiting a little bit for her to get to it because she started with the novellas, and so I'm picking this up. I am annotating it. I'm enjoying the reread so far. I've read this many times. I haven't read the whole series many times, but I've tried to read this one specifically, continue the series, yada yada yada. I've read the whole series one time. I just really like Sarah J. Maas's writing. It's so readable, even if there are plot holes and there are things that just don't work in the story. The characters are a little bit all over the place, whatever negatives there are to say. The shining star of her books are just how readable they are. So probably going to be reading this for a majority of the time. And then I also went through my library and picked up a bunch of fantasy books. I think 20 that I would like to get to eventually. And then I also need to read about 200 pages of Outlander. This is our book club's pick for September, but it's a chunky book, so if I'm going to finish it in time, I've set the goal for myself to do 100 pages a week. Starting last week, I didn't do the reading last week, so I need to do last week's reading and this week's reading. So I am going to start this at some point, and we'll see how this goes. I probably won't be talking about this because I'm planning on doing individual reading vlogs for all of the book club books and making it just accessible to the book club. So I probably won't be talking about this going forward, but I will be starting this one as well. I'm mostly going to be focusing on Throne of Glass. I love some of the later books in the series, but the first couple of books are not my favorite. So like I said, they're just kind of readable. They're things that I can sit down and enjoy. So I'm probably going to be jumping into that, and then later I'm going to be getting back into my K-drama that I started yesterday, which was Bon Appetit, Your Majesty. This is essentially about a woman who gets isekai'd into the Joseon era of Korea, and she is a world-renowned chef in 2025, and then when she goes back to Joseon era Korea, she has to cook for the king or get killed, and he's a bit of a tyrant, and I think they have a romance between the two of them. I'm about 20 to 30 minutes into the first episode, and I'm liking it. It's very funny, not in a laugh out loud way, but kind of in a campy sort of way, in the delightful way that K-dramas tend to have that are of this genre. Obviously not all K-dramas are the same, but this type of storytelling can be very campy. So I am enjoying it, and I plan to watch more of it later on, but for now I am going to continue reading Throne of Glass, and we might pick up something else at some point. let's begin. No attention. Join the to the right side body. Extend the rotation. Maybe just create a It has been such a lovely couple of days. It is Saturday now, and I have just been reading nonstop. I know I mentioned that I wanted to watch a K-drama and watch some other things. I was thinking that I was going to start the Colin Firth Pride and Prejudice mini-series, but I've just been so caught up in all the books that I've been reading, and I've been having a really good, relaxing time. I've been trying to stay out of my head about things, and I think reading and relaxing and being comfortable and all of that has really helped me do that. I have mostly been reading the historical romance that I'm buddy reading with a friend, Never Love a Highlander. This is the third book in this series, and I have read the first one. I haven't read the second one. I liked the first one okay, and I'm liking this third one okay. They're Scottish romances, and each of the women marries into the McCabe family, and they each have their own, obviously, romances with the different brothers. This one is an arranged marriage sort of kind of situation. The heroine from this one was supposed to marry the hero from the second one. Like I said, I haven't read that one, so I don't know for sure, but it sounds like he kind of threw her over for his heroine from his book, and the hero from this one stepped up to marry her. And they do not have the best romance to start with, and I'm still kind of like on the rocks about whether I 100% love it. I'm about 60% of the way through it now, and the heroine is definitely more of like she wants to wield a sword, she wants to be able to defend herself, she dresses in pants and shirts, and she binds her breasts and all that kind of stuff. And so her husband wants her to be like a submissive housewife who just kind of obeys him at every turn, and she is very opinionated and doesn't have any interest in living like that. So they definitely butt heads. They do have a sexual relationship pretty much immediately. I would say like 10% of the way through the book, and I would say that's the majority of when we see the more soft, loving side of the hero, and when we see their relationship flourishing, especially in the beginning. They do not get along otherwise, like outside the bedroom, they do not get along at all, but the hero allows himself to be soft and kind and loving with the heroine when they're having sex and in the bed and stuff like that. Otherwise, he is very against everything about her as a person, which I don't love. Given the time period of the story, I understand that like her personality would not be accepted, but I tend to like when heroes don't shove like submissive behaviors onto the heroine, even if the sentiment of the time is that women were supposed to be seen and not heard, quiet, obey their husbands kind of thing. I prefer when the hero is not like that. And so I'm just not really in love with the hero. There are definitely bright spots. There are definitely times where I'm like, oh, he's so sweet. And there are definitely times that have made me giggle. But I would say in general, he's kind of weighing down the story for me. I like the heroine, and I do like the progression that the hero's character has made. But I don't love when the heroine is kind of forced to teach the hero that women are equal and can not just be subservient to men. Like, I don't love that trope in my stories and my romances. So I'm not in love with the story. There are parts of it that I'm liking, and it's getting better as the story goes, but that beginning portion was a little bit frustrating. Other than that, I did continue to read Throne of Glass. Like I said, the rereading experience has been good. I also started Outlander, but my copy is just the writing. It's like a mass market paperback, and so the writing is so small that I cannot read it like with glasses or anything. So I had to reserve a copy from my library that should be coming through at any time. But I only got a couple pages in, and I was like, I can't read. Like, this is too small. I can't read it. I was watching, like, on in the background, I was watching a lot of, like, Marvel Rivals and some, like, Twitch streams and stuff like that. But I haven't been, like, actually watching anything. And then this morning, I decided to put on the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the originals, and I'm going to watch those while I finish my book. I'm hoping to finish it today. It's only 11:30, so I have plenty of time in the day to get it done and no plans for the day. So I do want to get it knocked out and then move on to something else. I'm just in such a reading mood that I'm kind of loving right now. Also, as you will see, I made my first loaf of bread. Never made bread before. I just followed a YouTube video, and it was actually really good. Like, she was chunky. She was not equally proportioned. She looked a little funky, but she was delicious. Like, I made grilled cheeses with her last night for dinner, and super good. So I do need to use some of that up, and I'm thinking I'm going to make something for lunch with that bread. But it was fun, especially like the kneading process. The kneading process was my favorite part. Like combining the ingredients and all that kind of stuff was fine, but I loved the kneading. I thought it was going to be the part that I was like the most nervous about, because I feel like it's one of the most important steps, but I loved just like, yeah, it was fun. And I'm very excited to continue and try other recipes and do other things. I'm thinking like an apple cake. I'm thinking like an apple cinnamon bread and like something pumpkin muffins. Like, I have plans. So yeah, that was good. That was successful. And other than that, I read a little bit. So not a lot, not a little bit, a lot, but I'm going to continue to do that right now. I'm going to snuggle up, get my cat cuddles in, and read my book and watch my movie. So we'll talk later. So I did manage to finish Never Love a Highlander. I didn't really like this one. Like I said, there were parts of it that I enjoyed, but most of it I was not a big fan of, especially the ending. I never really felt like all of the issues that I had with the hero resolved themselves until like the very end, and I didn't like the way that it had to get resolved. An extreme thing had to happen for him to like see her and take her wishes into account, which was frustrating because he was so enamored with her, so attracted to her. He loved the parts of her that were not like other women, but he still wanted to change all of those things to like fit the mold of the wife that he wanted, which is just so very like a man, is it not? I settled on like a 3-star for that. It may be like more of a 2-star, but I'll be generous and say 3 because there were things about it that I did enjoy. So I also got 200 pages into Throne of Glass, and I'm really getting into the reread of this. This is very fun. I think I mentioned this in a previous clip, but her writing is just so incredibly readable in a way that I very rarely experience. Like, I can just pick up her books and immediately I'm sucked in. Immediately I lose track of time. Even though these first couple of books in this series aren't the best and they're also not like crazy intricate or anything like that, because they don't have the most depth, they're so easy to get through. And it also is fun to see little Easter eggs, I suppose, of things that I know will come later on in this series. So I am enjoying this. I'm going to wait for my buddy read to catch up with me. And so I think for the time being, I'm going to start New Moon. I'm also doing a reread of the second book in a series that I will not talk about, reading that, and I'm also going to be starting New Moon as well. So I think for now, it's like 5 o'clock and my cats are going to start yelling at me to feed them. So I think once I feed them, I'll start New Moon, and then we'll probably end up talking tomorrow. I think once my partner gets home, we're going to hang out, watch some TV, have some vegan cheeseburgers, and relax. He's been working so much that we rarely ever get any time together, which is really difficult, but it is what it is. So I'm going to make the cheeseburgers with the new bread and see how it goes. I kind of wish we had like a grill press or something, because I feel like we don't have a grill, and I feel like bread would be good. Like, I could make it in a pan, or I could heat it up in the pan, or I could heat it up on the air fryer. But I just feel like a grill press would make it just so nice and crispy. Is the plan for the evening. Tomorrow, again, he is working, and I have 0 plans. So I'll be watching a Lorcana tournament that's going on. Tomorrow should be the top 8. And other than that, I'm just going to be reading a lot. And I don't know if I'm actually going to watch anything. I don't know. I've been in such a reading mood, which I want to like balance doing other things. Like, I've been trying to carve out an hour or so every day to practice my crocheting. Crocheted a lot last year, but I never really like put any effort into making anything. I had a lot of plans and never followed through with anything, and then I just stopped doing it. But I do want to make like a Halloween blanket, and I think it's going to take me so long that I need to start it now if I want it done by next Halloween. Because the design that I want to do is quite intricate, and I don't even know how to do all of the things yet. Like, maybe I'll pop a picture of kind of an idea of what I want to do. I don't even know how to do any of the things, any of the techniques involved. Like, I just know how to bare bones crochet, like how to make a daisy chain, all that kind of stuff. That's it. That's all I know how to do. I don't know any of the other crazy tech. I don't know how to make a granny square. I don't know how to incorporate different colors. I don't know any of that. So I do want to get back into that. I do want to learn, because I do want to start knitting and I want to start sewing. But I want to prove to myself that it is like fabric arts is a hobby that I'm interested in enough for me to put in the effort into sewing and knitting. Because I feel like those two things are harder. Reddit threads and stuff that say they're hard for different reasons, and like vice versa, they're easy for different reasons. But I just feel like, especially knitting, I just feel like it's going to be harder than crocheting. Maybe it's because I started with crocheting, but I would love to know if you do any of those. Like, if you do any fabric arts, what you find is the easiest, and like when you started and all that kind of stuff, because nobody in my life, none of my friends, nobody crochets, and so I'm just out here all on my lonesome. So I would love to talk about projects and what you love to do with the fabric arts. So let me know. This Sunday is the kind of Sunday where I just never leave my bed. I put a heating pad on, I put something on the TV, and I just read all day with some cat cuddles because I just woke up today and that's how I was feeling. So, I did finish the reread of the second book in that series that I was not going to mention, and then I also got 120 pages into New Moon. I basically just got through the portion where Edward leaves and she's like going through her depressive episode or whatever, and she like wakes up, you know, and she goes to the movie theater with Jessica and that whole shebang happened. Honestly, I read this very, very quickly. I think I read like 120 pages in like less than an hour, which is very fast for me. Depending on what I'm reading, I can usually read about 100 pages an hour or so. I was absolutely blowing through this. So I am enjoying the reread for sure. I'm excited to see how I feel by the end of the book. I have read this multiple times. I think I've read Eclipse maybe 3 times, and then I've read Breaking Dawn I think twice. Like the original time I read it, and then I've reread it since. But neither of them are that good. Like, of my ranking of the movies and the books, I would say it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, it just gets worse as the series goes on, movies and books. So I haven't read the latter half of the series that much. But I am enjoying the reread. We'll see how I feel by the end of it. I don't love Jacob, mostly because I think he assaults, well, I believe, like, I think it's very obvious that he assaults Bella. And multiple times manipulates her into having sexual contact with him, which, gross. You know, it is what it is. So I am going to probably read this and watch my Lorcana tournament for the rest of the day. That is going to be it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I would love to talk down in the comments how you have been doing recently, what you've been reading, what you've been loving. Would love if you considered subscribing. I make tons of videos exactly like this, mostly weekly vlogs, and I am planning some really big, exciting secret projects in the future, specifically around media, that I'm very excited for, and I hope that you will be very excited for. So don't forget to check out the Discord, linked down below. For the community, we have a book club. It's open to anybody. We would love to have you down there. Do all of the things. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next one.